Coach, is there a difference between an MVP of the league and a most talented player of the league? And is Kemba Walker any one of those two this year?
Could be both. I think he very well could be the National Player of the Year. And he's, when you look what he's done, he and Oriaki are really the two mainstays they have back, and they're playing a bunch of freshmen. And those freshmen have had really good years, but I think he's aided them in having really good years.
What has it been that's made him just make such a big stride from his freshman to sophomore year this season?
We played really well at the end of last year. I thought at the end of last year he was very, very good. He just, I think, more consistent. Probably plays with a lot more confidence.
Is his speed maybe his best attribute?
I think he's got a lot of them. He's got speed, but he's got quickness. He's got a great understanding. I think he does a great job of reading defenses. He really knows how to play.
How do you guard him?
I'm not sure. We're gonna try to do some things, but he's really good. I think what you can't let him just go crazy, but you can't let him get his and help everybody else get theirs too.
Right.
Bob, from the Villanova game on, your guys have said they try to at least get better, keeping guys out of the paint, the guards. Has that been better? Because this would be a pretty good test, I would imagine.
It wasn't very good fit game. I think we've gotten better. Yeah. Really, we didn't keep Rutgers out of the paint real well. They got a spread.
So you're coaching against two guys this week that are going to be back-to-back, that are going to wind up. One's already in the Hall of Fame. Another certainly has a pretty darn good chance of. Do you pay attention to? Do you coach against the other coach? Do you coach against the other team? Do you scout the other coach?
I think you do every game. I think you try to find tendencies. You try to find what they're comfortable with in certain situations, or what they're going to go to when they need to go to something. But I've never coached against them. I've been very fortunate. I've got to coach against Coach Knight, Danny Crum, on and on and on. I've been very fortunate, and I've learned a lot from those guys.
It's kind of what can you learn from them? Coaching on the other sideline.
Well, the adjustments that they make. Like for instance, when we played against Coach Knight, and they back cut you, they back screen you. But if you overrun a back cut or a back screen, they're going to rescreen you. And we worked really hard on back cuts and back screens, and then we got rescreened. Then you have to go back and spend a lot more time on the other part of it. I think they do a great job of teaching progressions, and then if you're trying to guard it from a defensive standpoint, you have to be able to teach progressions as well, so that you're able to make adjustments when they're making adjustments.
Is there a threat that ties Calhoun, Patino, Huggins, the Knight, Bayon put together? Is there something that one or two things that make a winning coach?
Yeah, I think most people would think that we're crazy. I think, Bob, there's so much single-mindedness of purpose, probably is a good way to put it. You read about, for instance, Coach Knight going down, spending time with player B, spending time with the older kind of innovators. He was very close with Pete Noel. I think if you really know the guys that you're talking about, everybody has had opportunities to spend time with guys that did what we do very well before us. You know, I've been very fortunate to be able to spend time with, you know, around Coach Knight, Louis Carnesecca, Abe Lemons, Al McGuire. You know, Al kind of put his arm around me and kind of took me in, you know, and I got to spend a lot of time with Al, you know, and kind of and talk to Al about different things, and you know, those things are you know, I think they're valuable. I think we guys that have had opportunities like that have a better understanding of history, better understanding of how the game's evolved and why it's evolved. And you know, you kind of sometimes, you know, I mean, I still do 90% of what we do. I learned from my dad, you know, but the game changes. You know, it's not the same game that my dad coached. It's not the same game that those guys coach. It's a different game. But I think to be able to get to where the guys that you're talking about have been, you have an understanding of not just what's going on now, but why it's going on, and you're able to convey that, you know, to a degree. You know, it's amazing. You know, I'll say something to our guys like, you know, Al McGuire, and they look like who? You know, it's and I think that's a shame.
At Rutgers, I counted, I guess, maybe 10 points you got off inbounds. There may have been more, and then of course the 1-3-1 everybody talked about. Have you had to do that a little bit more this year than you normally would or would like to do?
No, honestly, John, I said after the game, we don't spend that much time on it. What we try to do is try to get them to make reads. You know, they didn't. They tried to jam us up in the middle, and Truck throws to Kev, and Kev hits a three. They turn their head and again try to jam us up and not let us, you know, do the screen and roll stuff, and John sneaks in for a layup. You know, it's guys making reads. You know, they're going to play you different. Everybody's going to play you different, so you have to make the correct read to be able to, you know. I think seemed like the only field goal we got the whole second half, Pep got a three out of. It's the same out of bounds play. You know, he made a read and got to the open area.
Outside of Kemba, what are the other major concerns with playing UConn? I imagine Oriaki's probably.
Well, Oriaki's the best offensive rebounder in the league, statistically. They've got great size. They've got great size. They've always. I don't know if they are now. I didn't look, but for years and years they've led the league in shot. Actually, they've led the country in block shots. Jim's always taken a lot of pride in his team's ability to rebound a basketball. They do a lot of things well. But they're like everybody else. They're a whole lot better when they make shots.
Right.
You know, I mean, that seems to be a common thread.
Is Oriaki such a good offensive rebounder because of how much attention people have to pay to Walker?
Penetration. I mean, that helps. I mean, he's a good offensive rebounder regardless. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic. But penetration enables your rebounder.
The teams that have done better against Walker, have they been more physical with him? Is there anything particular that they've done?
Sometimes he just doesn't make as many shots as he does others. He gets shots. He's going to get shots. When he wants to get shots, he's going to get shots.
Well, they haven't done great against zone. A lot of that's because the teams are trying to stop Kemba from getting inside. Is it them, or is it just other teams are good at zone, like Louisville, for example?
Louisville plays pretty good zone.
Mm-hmm. You guys have played Matt.
I mean, you watch the Marquette game, they had shots, they just didn't make them. You watch the Cincinnati game, they made them. Roscoe Smith goes 1 for 8 against Marquette, and he's what, 3 for 4 from 3 against Cincinnati. I don't know how you explain that. Same shots.
Different day, right?
Hoping to get it today.
You're obviously very good against guarding the three in the country, #1 in the Big East. Is that, you step out very far to contest them. Is that kind of a byproduct of trying to stop guys from driving or getting in the middle because of the size in the back? Are they tied together at all?
play Cam. Cam is a whole lot better at being able to go out and guard on the perimeter than what some people's bigs are. The disadvantage that we have inside, we have a little bit of an advantage outside with him. And KJ's always been a pretty good perimeter defender.
I know you don't want to look ahead too far, but you said you want to be in the day 2 of the Big East tournament. 2 games left, and I believe 5-way tie for 7th in the conference. Do you see these last 2 games as one you have to have? Do you see it that way?
Well, we have to, but it sure be nice. I don't know. You know, it's hard to tell what's going to happen. I think we're tied with Connecticut. We play Connecticut. The winner of that's going to be a game up on the other one. Marquette plays Cincinnati. I think it's a 4-way tie. So 2 teams are going to be 10-8, and 2 teams are going to be 9-9. Obviously, you'd rather be 10-8.